Just ahead of the tax filing deadline, the Senate is asking questions about identity theft and cybersecurity.
IRS Commissioner John Koskinen says the agency's computer systems are constantly under the threat of cyber attack, so the IRS has to strike a delicate balance.
We need to keep the criminals out while letting the legitimate taxpayers in.
One way to do that is to beef up the authentication process used for e-filing tax returns.
Our goal is to have the strongest possible authentication process for our online services while maintaining the ability of taxpayers to access their data and use IRS services online.
Koskinen tells senators this is critical because the IRS's computers face more than 1 million hack attacks each day. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
The Texas 19-year-old who as a teen killed 4 people in a drunk driving crash is back in court today, and this time will be in adult court. Ethan Couch could get time behind bars after he and his mother fled to Mexico. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Wally Hines. President Obama meets with his national security team at the CIA today to talk about ISIS strategy.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest says this is the latest in a series of periodic meetings the president attends with his national security team to discuss the fight against the Islamic State.
Those regular in-person updates are valuable to testing how effective the strategy is.
At the conclusion of this afternoon's meeting at CIA headquarters, the president is scheduled to issue a public statement.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston reporting. Spanish police have arrested a Frenchman they believe supplied the weapons for use in the attacks in Paris in January of last year. Those attacks on a kosher market and a satirical newspaper left 17 people dead along with 3 attackers. Pakistan's prime minister has arrived in London for medical treatments for a chronic heart condition. Nawaz Sharif's been under pressure from opposition parties to step down since his family members were named in the mass leak of offshore account data from a Panamanian firm. More on these stories.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Long's Billiards in Newport News is having a massive sale. 7, 8, even 9-foot tables are at an all-time low price, including Connolly, Brunswick, and Olhausen. 1,000 pool cues in stock are up to 30, 40, even 50% off. Over 100 pool tables also on sale. When gone, they're gone forever. Log on to longsbilliards.com. Call 599-3661 and visit them at 9906 Wart Boulevard. Major clearance prices going on now at Long's Billiards.
They're playing basketball.
Don't miss your chance to see tomorrow's NBA stars today at the 64th Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, showcasing the best in college basketball. Watch the top college seniors showcase their talents in front of NBA scouts and general managers Wednesday, April 13th through Saturday, April 16th at Churchland High School. Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. For ticket details, visit portsmouthinvitational.com. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us right here in the studios of News Talk 1650, your 10,000-watt voice of Hampton Roads. Also, tunein.com, type in WHKT. Excellent show as always, and thank you, fans, for being a part of Sports Scene each and every week right here on News Talk 1650 from 12 to 1, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Also, sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Tell your friends about 1650. At Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military guest lineup, sponsors on GJBTV.com, homepage and marketplace sponsors, as well as the Lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach. Phone line presented by gjbtv.com. It's lunchtime. Reminder, you can order online at Papa John's. And, of course, follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Sponsors this month right now, hard to believe we're already in mid-April, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddie's, Long's Billiards, Me Hogar, Newport News Greek Festival as well, newportnewsgreekfestival.org. And, of course, kudos to all the people in the PIT this week. Good luck to them. Also a sponsor right here on our radio station. Of course, congratulations to Danny Willett winning the Masters Golf Championship. The Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament will take place tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the James River Country Club. NBA postseason around the corner. Of course, Major League Baseball, the Tide's in full action. Kobe's last game, Warriors going for the streak. So a lot going on in the world of sports. And, of course, condolences to the late Will Smith from the New Orleans Saints as well. All right, we're going to talk golf. It looks like it's golf weather out there finally in about a month. Stay tuned. We'll come back with Wayne Nooe from Kingsmill after these messages on Sports Scene.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
All right, 12:11 right here on Sports Scene, live and local right here. Also, tunein.com, type in WHKT. It's only fitting, Kenny, that Ozzy was in Williamsburg a few weeks ago. Of course, you did his great impersonation, and we got our next guest, Wayne Nooe, on. But, of course, Wayne, let's welcome you from Kingsmill. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Wayne Nooe from Kingsmill. We've had him on Sports Highlights. We've had him on Sports Scene on the Game as well as this station as well. And, of course, that was kind of ironic that Ozzy was in the colonial capital.
Well, it was, and he got some good press for the area. It was a little strange seeing him with a musket in his hand, but it's always nice to have a celebrity get some notoriety for Williamsburg.
All right, Wayne, we're about a month away, May 16th to May 22nd. You got Media Day next week. First of all, how is the river course holding up after this winter?
Well, we actually had for us a good winter. The ryegrass we put down each fall to ensure that the golf course is green for the tournament came in really good because of the warm fall we had. We actually hosted a Mid-Atlantic PGA Pro-Am yesterday and had about 25 teams from all around the state here, and they were all very complimentary of the course. Obviously, from the renovation we did about 12 years ago, one of the things we did with that was a lot of drainage work as well as rebuild all the greens, so they're nice sand base. The golf course drains real well. It's in really good shape, and looking at the forecast moving forward, we just think it's going to get better.
Absolutely. Weather is kind of up and down in April, ironically, but of course, hopefully May it'll be perfect. Of course, as we've said before, trying to get that date, but a lot of it was paramount to the Olympics and the Golf Channel dealing with NBC.
Yeah, historically we'd had the LPGA event on Mother's Day, and when the Players Championship changed its event to Mother's Day, that caused us to move a week later, which NBC owns the Golf Channel, so they didn't want two events going on at the same time. And then this year, we're even a week later due to the Olympics and the change, because the LPGA season now starts in October or November. It changed their season for this year, and we moved a week later due to PGA Tour schedule change, which changed the LPGA Tour. So it should give the golf course another week to mature for the season and get the ryegrass a little bit longer for the ladies, so that the premium of hitting it in the fairway is there.
Along with Ken Johnson, Greg Bicouvaris, live right here on Sports Scene on News Talk 1650 at 12:14. Your time check presented by TGIFs on Lynn Haven Parkway. Great place for lunch, dinner, and late night dining as well. And of course, always a lot of amenities. But before we talk about the event coming up in May, what were your thoughts about the Masters? I know the Spieth kid was unhappy. He's young, but the truth is, though, no matter what your age is, you don't get that many chances at a major like that.
Yeah, I tell you, it was, I think for him, I obviously never had the ability he has, but just trying to put myself in his shoes, it's got to be a lot harder to take something like that when he has to feel like he lost it and didn't get beat. And that's a tough one to swallow. I mean, if what we've seen from him the first 2 or 3 years he's been on tour, from a maturity standpoint, I think he'll eventually get over it. But it's going to take some time. That was really tough.
Right, that's not just a regular run-of-the-mill tournament. Not that they're easy, but that's a major. And majors like Tiger, as he's documented over the years, although he didn't play, always made them, paramount to his career. As we're talking to Wayne Nooe from Kings Mill about the big event coming up May 16th to May 22nd. And, of course, Kings Mill and your golf championships very active on social media, Wayne.
That's one of the things that we've really tried to improve and increase our exposure there over the past few years. We've historically have a couple of interns that are in typically in sports management programs, and we do have a couple this year, and so they've really been very helpful in making sure that we stay on top of that, and it's just become such an important component of marketing for anyone almost, and for the tournament, it's a big part of what we do.
Just to give the fans a little bit of a outline of the event, from 81 to 2002 was a men's tournament. They played in different times of the year, especially in the late summer. Of course, it's been a women's tournament since 2003. It was idle for a couple of years, and of course, it's been back and very strong. And of course, what is in your opinion, the state of men and women's golf as far as the PGA and the LPGA before we talk about specifically Kings Mill?
Well, I think golf in general, I would say, is still a little bit flat or stagnant. It's kind of maintaining right now. I wouldn't describe it as a sport that's growing. I do think, though, from a spectator standpoint, particularly for the professional events, the PGA and LPGA, that they seem to be much more stable than they were 5, 6, 7 years ago, right after the downturn in the economy. Both the PGA and the LPGA had some difficulties at times finding title sponsors. And I think the LPGA has found, with the international flair that they have on their tour, that they're adding events, particularly overseas, to maintain a fairly good schedule. I mean, they're well over 30, approaching 40 events this year, and that's the most they've had in quite some time. But the international component of that has become a big part particularly in Asia.
Mm-hmm. And of course, talking to Wayne Nooe right here from Kingsmill, and of course, Minji Lee won it last year. The year before that, I believe, was Lizette Salas. So it's always one thing about the NASCAR race in Richmond and the Michelob, of course, the golf tournament in Kingsmill. They're events, they're annual events. Of course, the Richmond race has a couple events, but the main one is in the spring. That's showcased on Fox, and of course, yours is on the Golf Channel. These are two major events in Williamsburg and Richmond, not too far apart, that people can save the date for, Wayne, as opposed to a mundane, several games in a week like during the baseball season where you see low attendance throughout the week. For something like this is definitely a mark your calendar event.
I would agree with you, and I know I've told you this as we've talked over the years, and anytime I'm speaking to a civic organization or giving a speech about the tournament, I just feel real strongly that anytime you have a chance to see the best of anything in the world, you should try to take that opportunity to see it. And there's no doubt that the best women golfers in the world will be at Kingsmill in about a month. Lydia Ko, the number one ranked player in the world, 18 years old, has already won 12 LPGA events and 2 majors. You just don't have that come to your hometown very often,
no.
and to have that opportunity, it's pretty special to watch them play, and it is a great event, and we do get a lot of support from the community, so I do think people take advantage of coming out to see them. But I would encourage anyone who's never been to come, because you are witnessing the best female golfers in the world.
12:19 time check. Talking to Wayne Nooe from Kingsmill. This segment presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Great place for wings and delicious burgers as well, right there at any Buffalo Wild Wings around the country. And of course, you're exactly right. This is something you do want to save the date for, but just look at your past champions, Wayne. It's not that big of an event as far as decades and decades like the men's tournament. There are a lot of the girls that have retired, like especially the first one, Grace Park, and of course, so many others have retired over the years too, like Annika Sorenstam. It's an ever-evolving sport for women's golf, as opposed to men, where you see Tom Watson playing forever.
Right, and it has been, I guess you could say, more traditional or more regular that on the ladies tour that at about 35 years old is when you start seeing players retiring, whether it's from family or just maybe they don't quite have the game they may have had when they were 25, or maybe they've lost a little interest in golf. The typical career of an LPGA player is a little bit shorter. You don't see. I mean, Julie Inkster would be the first one to come to mind. The ones that succeeded, say, into their 40s or were able to maintain at that high level. You just don't see that much on the LPGA Tour. So, normally at about 35 years old, you start seeing the skill set drop off a little bit.
Talking to Wayne Nooe from Kingsmill. This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris. Glad you're with us. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Very simple for archive shows as well. Don't forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com. And, of course, NASCAR and Fox coming to Richmond next month. And, of course, the big Kingsmill event coming on the Golf Channel. Are you pleased with the air times? You are getting some tape delay and some prime time slots, which is not too bad for the West Coast.
Well, particularly for Thursday and Friday, we have found over the years that we do as good, if not better, on Thursday and Friday with tape delay and being a little later in the day because of people being home at night and flipping over to the Golf Channel. So, you always like to have an event live, but particularly on the Thursday, Friday being tape delayed is, I don't think, something that will hurt us and potentially even helps us.
Now, anytime you get on prime time on national TV, it's good because you remember when we were growing up, Monday Night Football used to start at 9 o'clock on ABC. So it's late for the East Coast, but not necessarily on a weekend. And it's getting toward the end of the school year. College is already out, and which brings me to say you need a lot of volunteers to run this organization. I'm sure you're already working on next year right now. And what is the status of a title sponsor?
Right now, Xanterra, our parent company, is still the title sponsor. That has been one of what I would say is one of the disappointments for me personally, that we have not been able to secure a title sponsor. It's a tough area for us here in Hampton Roads, that there's not that many large businesses based in this area, and a lot of the larger ones that are in this area tend to have a lot of them have a military attachment. And on the LPGA Tour, you'll find that most of the title sponsors, and other than the non-majors, are more localized companies or regional companies that are sponsoring them, and it is very much a hospitality or entertainment marketing for these people, where they invite customers in and those type things. So not having a lot of large companies based here, and then obviously if you're a company that deals a lot with the military, it's almost impossible to entertain people from the government. So we just still haven't found that right company or that would want to get involved. I mean, we get a lot of great support from the companies in our area, but at this point, the title sponsorship has just been one we've not been able to secure.
And a lot of the women that played in it always looked at it as the fifth major. I'm not sure if it's quite that level with the number of players that are still playing in the top 50, but you still have a pretty good field. And what is the status of fan favorite Michelle Wie?
Well, we're going to have media day next week, so I don't want to give out too many secrets, but when we've got the preliminary list, we were very happy with the players that are coming, strong field, and I think the fans will be very happy to see the ones we have coming.
And the girls are so sociable. The practice rounds, Wayne, and the Pro-Am are really accessible.
Well, I think that is the strength of the LPGA, and if you look in any of the surveys where they go out and survey people or companies that are involved in sports marketing, the LPGA always scores in the top 2 or 3 in engagement, and the players really go out of their way in most cases to recognize the fans, recognize the sponsors, recognize the volunteers, and are very cordial and try to show their appreciation for the event, knowing that without the volunteers, without the spectators, and without the sponsors, they don't make any money.
Right.
So they're a little more engaged than maybe some of the reputation you've heard from the PGA Tour.
Right. Of course, talking to Wayne Nooe from Kingsmill, getting ready for the big event coming up May 16th to May 22nd. This is Sports Scene on News Talk 1650, also live on TuneIn.com by typing WHKT in your phone or your computer. Wayne, are you a little concerned about the transportation? Going from Newport News to Williamsburg, especially on the weekends, is a gridlock. I'm almost telling people now, just go ahead and take 60 or 143, because right there by Jefferson Avenue in Fort Eustis, I know you don't live in that direction, but still, it is a gridlock, especially during Busch Gardens traffic and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern not only for the tournament, but for Kingsmill in general, because we do have a lot of customers that come in from that direction. But luckily with the tournament, particularly on Thursday and Friday, you're looking at events that start at 7:15 in the morning and go until 7 o'clock at night. So you can kind of avoid some of maybe the busier times. And then on the weekend, hopefully with the TV times again being starting a little earlier in the morning, you hopefully will miss the traffic coming in, and it's about mid-afternoon or late afternoon for a finish. So we hope people will still come and just try to time it to miss the bad traffic.
And of course, people come all over from the Mid-Atlantic as well as the Washington D.C. area, and of course all over the United States to follow this event, because it's a worldwide event. The LPGA is a worldwide major polarizing event. In a lot of places that don't have big sporting events like ours, and like Wayne mentioned, not a lot of big businesses. This is a lot of mom and pops in Hampton Roads. Folks, just face it, we're not New York, Chicago, or LA, and Wayne is exactly right. All right, with that said, Wayne, before we go to a break, and I want to hold you just for a minute, but we got a couple more minutes. What is the status of Kingsmill as a resort? I know during that week it's all inclusive where fans and customers can use the restaurants. How is that going?
Well, other than that week, as you know, our facilities are open to our resort guests, our members, and their guests. But during that week, it is open. People who come to the event will have access to all the facilities here. But it's gone well. We've, as you know, we've got a large community here at Kingsmill, and a majority of the residents are members now, and it would really be a stretch for us, and a lot of times of the year to be open for everyone. So it's actually going well, and there was some learning curves and some pains along the way, but I think we've got our feet under us now, and it's going really well with the change.
Wayne, well, thank you so much for your time, your talent, and your treasure. We look forward to seeing you next week at Media Day and talking to you very soon.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Have a great day.
You too. Wayne Nooe right there from Kingsmill. Excellent guest, Ken Johnson. This is Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650, 1229. Don't forget, Big Tides ticket drop right here on Sports Scene next week. We'll be giving away Tides tickets. Save the date for Sports Scene on April the 20th to give away Tides tickets. Ken Johnson, this is Sports Scene on 1650 and TuneIn.com. Take it away.
And things are looking pretty good as far as the forecast goes. Very spring-like. Some sunshine today and a high of 58 degrees, so a little cool still. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 47. Mostly sunny skies for tomorrow with a high of 60. Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, some gusty winds coming through, a high of 59. For Saturday, sunny, windy, a high of 60. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 63. We'll see mostly sunny skies on Monday with a high of 75. Well, that is if the weather guessers get it right. And then for Tuesday, a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 68 degrees. A little programming change coming up at 1 o'clock today. We join Dennis Prager at 3 o'clock. It's Glenn Beck at 6. Mark Levin right here on AM 1650 WHKT. The Answer, 1230. Stay tuned for news.
With SRN News, I'm Wally Hines in Washington. A prosecutor says a white North Carolina officer who shot a black man acted in self-defense and won't be facing criminal charges in that case. The shooting sparked an outcry in the predominantly black neighborhood where it happened. Police had previously said that Akil Denkins was armed and was shot by the officer when he reached for the officer's weapon. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are campaigning throughout New York City today ahead of the state's primary next week. Sanders predicting victory as he appeared with members of a transit workers union before joining a picket line with communications workers striking against Verizon. Clinton is again reaching out to the city's black community with a speech to the organization led by the Reverend Al Sharpton. Prosecutors say they expect one person who accuses Dennis Hastert of sexual abuse to speak at his sentencing in his hush money case. The judge has indicated that he wants to consider that the former U.S. House Speaker lied to federal authorities. This is SRN News.
Here's an idea. Instead of waiting for your boss to give you a raise, give yourself one by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans. You could add hundreds of dollars each month to your bottom line, like a boss. Call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. A Quicken Loans refinance gives you the financial power to enhance your life and pursue your passion. Our passion is client service. Here's the proof. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to NewportNewsGreekFestival.org.
For over 55 years, Long's Billiards is the place to go for all your billiard supplies. Long's Billiards has Brunswick and Oldhausen pool tables at more than 50% off. Long's Billiards has never offered prices this low before. 7, 8, and 9-foot pool tables on sale now. Hurry, this deal won't last.
Visit Long's Billiards in Newport News or log on to longsbilliards.com. Call now, 599-3661. That's 599-3661.
They're playing basketball.
Don't miss your chance to see tomorrow's NBA stars today at the 64th Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, showcasing the best in college basketball. Watch the top college seniors showcase their talents in front of NBA scouts and general managers Wednesday, April 13th through Saturday, April 16th at Churchland High School. Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. For ticket details, visit portsmouthinvitational.com. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and tunein.com. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And I want to thank Wayne Noe right there from Kingsmill with their big event coming up May 16th to May 22nd. Truly a gem in Hampton Roads is that golf tournament every spring. They do a really good job. And two of the best resorts, Kenny, I've been to in the state have been Massanutten to go snow tubing and Kingsmill. Really puts a quality of life. We always hear mayors and politicians, Kenny, when they're running for city council or quality of life. Well, the quality of life at Kingsmill, the quality of life at Massanutten, two of the best quality of life places in the state.
Yeah, you don't have to leave the state to find good stuff. We got a lot of great things right here in the Commonwealth.
And Virginia Beach, too. And, of course, it goes back to the arena and what they're also talking about putting some type of gym exercise thing on 36th Street. Well, I grew up on 36th in Atlantic, Kenny, and the last thing anybody wants to see on a weekend morning when they're trying to relax is somebody doing a pull-up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Your thoughts on that?
This is not Muscle Beach, California. I don't know why everybody wants Virginia Beach and Norfolk and the whole area, especially Virginia Beach, to be something it's not. Virginia Beach is not New York City town center, and it's not Muscle Beach down at the oceanfront. It's a whole different animal. People come here for a whole different reason. If you want to go to Muscle Beach, go to Muscle Beach in California. If you want Virginia Beach, you come to Virginia Beach. Don't make it something it's not.
Right. If you want to go to New York City and Washington and pay millions of dollars to park and go in circles and be exhausted by the time you get out of your car, go for it. Unless you're in a parking garage that's paid for, it's not fun. Trust me on that. And it goes back again to Virginia Beach, too, before I get into my highlights here, is it's the ocean front that draws people from Memorial Day to Labor Day. You start putting too many arenas, I'm sure, Kenny, the amphitheater is just excited that what I call Sandler Center on steroids is coming down to the arena in a few years. Nobody's asking for it, and great, it's going to have an extra concert there. But you know what? What's the whole point of the amphitheater?
None that I can see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this is highlights right here at gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link for archive shows. Lunchtime, order online at papajohns.com. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors. Save the date each Wednesday for Sports Scene from 12 to 1. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. TGIF on Lynn Haven Parkway. TGIFridays.com for lunch, dinner, and late night. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit. Save the date for the Norfolk Greek Festival coming up May 12th to May 15th. We'll be talking about that in the Narrow Theater here. A lot of good stuff with movies coming up as well. And find a B-dubs at BuffaloWildWings.com. The Tide season finally underway. Catch the new wave as your defending 2015 International League South Division champion Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow today. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information on season tickets, groups, ticket discounts, and Tides merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball, see the green. And they're saying see the green, Kenny, as you know, because you're doing a spot as well for them. They've changed their whole logos and uniforms, well documented during the offseason.
Yeah, it's a whole different look for them. I forget, what did they say they're going to do with Riptide? Because he's blue. Are they going to just dye him green? And he doesn't look like a seahorse. So I'm not sure what the story is on the mascot, and everyone likes Riptide, so I don't know what they're
Put
going to do.
it this way: if it was a sci-fi movie, he wouldn't be making it. Kenny, maybe that's a philosophy question, if you know what I'm talking about.
If they make him green, he's going to look like the Philly Fanatic, so I'm not sure how that would work.
All right, introducing lunch at Outback every bloomin' day with your favorites like Aussie tacos made with chicken, fish, or steak, or try their new ribeye melt topped with bacon, cheddar, and garlic aioli, all in a toasted artisan bun. With over 70 lunch combinations starting at only $6.99, it's now lunch at last at Outback, 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach, right in the heart of Kempsville. Give them a call at 523-4832. Open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, great appetizers, desserts, kid menu, the best steaks and burgers, and of course ribs right there at Outback right there in Virginia Beach. Go by and see Mike and the friendly staff at 1255 Fordham Drive. Get a bloomin' onion and check out their new and improved menu as well as decor as well. Kenny, I want to get to you before we get to our next guest right here. A lot has been said. We've talked about it, you and I, briefly recently about Batman and Superman. The Star Wars movie came out in December. There's a new Rogue Star Wars movie coming out in December as well. It's already been active on Twitter and the Star Wars Twitter site too as well. But in your opinion, all your years of following comics and movies, what superhero has gotten the least respect in your opinion?
Well, I would have said Ant-Man, but that all changed with his movie. So, being the small guy, I would have said that. I don't know, a superhero that has been neglected, doesn't get much attention paid to him. Well, the Green Lantern thing didn't work out very well, did it? I don't know what the story was with that, but that just didn't quite hit the mark like I would think they were hoping it would. Maybe they'll do a reboot on that. So I don't know. Like I said, I would have said Ant-Man before just by the very name. They even made fun of that in the movie. But other than that, I can't think of who might be the most underappreciated superhero.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Phantom. Remember Phantom was great in the comics also. There was a movie about it, but it didn't do well in the box office. But Phantom really just was a Phantom when you think about it.
Yeah, Billy Zane did a good job with that, too. And it was not a badly done movie. I just don't think they really knew what they had.
Right.
It should have been done more like the Indiana Jones, where you felt more of the period piece to it. They also did a movie on The Shadow, which I thought was very well done. But again, people went, meh. Maybe they just didn't understand it.
Too much meh. All right, right here, a sports scene right here on News Talk 1650. Stay tuned. We'll take a short break, and we'll come back after these messages. For more, go to gjbtv.com, tunein.com, type in WHKT.
Where's the beef?
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has two locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back live right here on Sports Scene, live and local, the only remaining sports talk show from the game right here. Go to my background, gjbtv.com. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson. Busy weekend I had, worked for the CBS Sports Network, the Navy Colgate doubleheader in lacrosse. Then Sunday, being the big NBA fan that I am, I went all the way back to Washington the next day, Kenny, because the Wizards had a 12 o'clock game against Charlotte. The Wizards are not going to the postseason this year, but boy, they try and try, but they're just falling a little bit short.
I'm sorry. I was in the middle of doing something.
The Wizards, Kenny, just not making the playoffs this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Well, they should have a coach like you, Ken, coaching them.
Oh, good Lord.
A local tradition at CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more, open for lunch and dinner. They showcase NASCAR, where they got the big Richmond race coming up in a couple weeks, Major League Baseball going on, including that great baseball player Trevor Story from the Rockies. 7 home runs in 6 games. He is playing really good. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, of course, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Go by and see Matt and Mark eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. And, of course, they've got a big golf tournament as well coming up on Monday, May the 2nd at the beautiful Oceana Golf Course in Virginia Beach. And, of course, it's all presented by CP Shuckers and Aloha Circle. And you can register at both locations on Pacific Avenue and Shore Drive. We have a combo guest here talking Norfolk Greek Festival, as well as one of the historic quality of life theaters in Hampton Roads, the Narrow. Let's welcome Thom Vourlas, a regular. How are you, Tommy?
I'm doing just great, Greg. How are you?
Good, my friend. Beautiful spring day. It's a lot going on. First of all, we'll talk about the Narrow first. What's coming up the rest of this month, and what can we look forward to in that beautiful theater right there in Ghent in Norfolk?
Well, I don't know how beautiful it is, but it is a comfy, cozy place, I will say that. But we're currently showing Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren, and tonight we have one of the films that was nominated for Best Foreign Film, Embrace of the Serpent, and then this weekend we'll be playing Hello, My Name is Doris with Sally Field, Remember with Christopher Plummer, and Michael Moore's new documentary, Where to Invade Next, bringing out our liberal side, I guess you could say. But then we're putting together our new program for May and June, so I can't tell you yet what's on it, but that should be out in a couple of weeks, and it'll be the usual fare of independent films, quality films, better second-run movies, cult films, a few old classics here and there, and, of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right, that was always popular back in the day. It seems like, Tom, over the years, you guys have had a lot of showcase movies that have gotten Oscars as well over the years.
Well, it's very weird about that is, being a single-screen theater, it makes it difficult because sometimes we have to make these choices of which movie to play. The quality, Academy Award movies, they usually wait until the fall to release those things, and then so in the summer there's still good movies for us to play, but we don't play the big blockbusters that go in the mall, although we will play them second run because many of our loyal fans don't want to see movies in the mall. They want to come here and enjoy it at the Narrow. But what will happen in the fall is we'll just get this plethora of all these great films that are going to get all these awards and everything, and we've got to make the decision of which one to play, because we can only, we may have a choice of several of them for a certain week, but we can only play one of them. So it gets to be hard. But yeah, a lot of the films that we show end up being nominated for Best Picture. I think a couple of years ago there were 8. There may have been 8 or 9 nominated. They can nominate now up to 10 of them, but I think there are 8 or 9 of them, and I think over half of them we had premiered here exclusively at the Narrow. So that makes us feel good.
We're talking to Thom Vourlas from the world-famous Narrow Theater in Norfolk. The amenities you have now for a person that's never been or a family that's never been to your theater in Norfolk that might be a tourist listening, might be coming this summer. Of course, the concessions. Talk about parking. Talk about the average ticket prices.
Our ticket prices are, in line with every other, a little cheaper than most of the mall theaters around here. But we do sell a ticket book, which has 10 tickets in it for $73. So it ends up being $7.30 a ticket, which is much cheaper than anybody else is. And you don't have to stand in line. You just walk right in. We take the book. We'll tear out one ticket if it's just you, or if it's you and 9 other friends, we'll take out all 10 of them. and you get to walk right in. We're in the middle of a restaurant residential area, and of course most of the restaurants grew up due to the fact that we were there, because we started this theater in 1977. So we've been here nearly 40 years. And, when we first opened, there was only like 1 or 2 restaurants. Now there are 3 or 4 dozen within a quarter mile of us. And but there's parking on we don't have our own parking lot, but there's parking on the side streets or in any of the restaurant parking lots. They may have towing signs there, but nobody tows. Catty corner to us is Blair Middle School, and they have a big parking lot that's open at night, so it's very well lit, very safe, and all that. And our concessions are well below the market value of other theaters. I can tell you can still get a popcorn and drink here for probably $5 together. So I don't think you can get that anywhere else. And we do sell cookies and pastries and baklava.
There you go, which brings me to say you're also very involved with the Norfolk Greek Festival, one of the better festivals in the United States, coming up. Kind of an awkward time this year. It's never perfect, always in May, but the Greek Easter tradition is not till May 1st, so there's a lot going on there that the Greek community in Norfolk is having to jumble all at once.
Yeah, it's very weird. I always tell people always say, how come your Easter is different than
Sure.
Regular Easter? And I said, well, we have to wait till after the Jewish Passover, but that's just the way the calendar works. But I really tell them the real reason is we get to get half price on Peeps.
There you go.
So that's the advantage of being Greek Orthodox. But yeah, Greek Easter is May 1st, but the Greek Festival has always been, for the past decade or more, the weekend after Mother's Day. So this year it's going to be Thursday, May 12th, until Sunday, May 15th. And it's right there on Granby Street, right across from Granby High School, 7220 Granby Street, about a half a mile south of Ward's Corner. And it'll be open for lunch and dinner every day. And it's a grand time, as you well know.
Yeah, and of course, it's kind of like Grease on Granby Street. And of course,
that's right. That's what I call it, Grease on Granby Street.
And people don't realize that, it's that and the Newport News Festival, that's 2 of the biggest events in the Hampton Roads area for a combined 8 days in the spring. They don't compete against each other because one's in May, one's in June, but that's 8 days of Greek culture in Hampton Roads. And I always tell people there's something for everyone. If you're watching your carbs, try the string beans in the salad, and of course the souvlaki, and of course if you don't care, go for the chicken and the potatoes and the lamb and the gyro. So there really is something for everyone, and of course there's great desserts.
Right. Well, of course, this is the only time of year where you can get the loukoumades too, which is probably one of the most popular things. Because there are other times during the year where the church or the Hellenic Women's Club or somebody will have a bake sale or something like that, and where you can get the kurambieres and baklava and kateifi and galataburiko and all that good stuff. But this is the only time of year you can get the loukoumades, and it's to die for, as you well know.
They're like donuts.
And of course, we have the drive-through too, but you can't get the loukoumades at the drive-through. There many times people will be in line at the drive-through. They've been waiting in line for 10 or 15 minutes. It gets really crowded, like at 6 or 7 o'clock on Friday and Saturday night. And then they get up to the front and they say, we want to get a big box of loukoumades. They say, well, sorry. So remember that. Don't go through drive-through for loukoumades.
And don't wait till late Saturday night or Sunday to go, because you know what? A lot of stuff is sold out by the time, especially when the weather's nice. And of course, I know
exactly, yeah. I tell people, especially for the pastries, to go there by Friday late afternoon or something, because there are a lot of people that go there on Thursday and Friday afternoon, and they just buy tons of stuff, and a lot of that stuff you can freeze, or they're giving it to other people or something. And so you may go there on a Friday or Saturday night or Saturday afternoon or something to get a certain pastry, and it's gone, and when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, I always say people are treating it like BJ's and Sam's Club or Walmart. They're just like pounding all the Greek stuff they can, because it's like you said, it's only here for a limited time. And Christ, they got a great indoor, mall inside as well that sells great olives and arts and crafts too.
Right. The Agora and in the Hellenic Center, they'll have artwork and jewelry and Greek CDs if you want that kind of stuff. And that's also where the pastries have finally, they moved inside there because they have much more room. But outside, it's all under the big tent, so it's all weatherproof, basically. Parking can be a problem, but there's you can usually find a place somewhere around there, and there are police around there so they can get you across Granby. I always tell people to park at Granby High School and walk across the street because it's nobody hardly parks over there, and they have police that'll cross you or get you across and everything. But traffic's going slow anyway because there are people slowing down to look at everything, rubbernecking, and of course the drive-through is slowing down traffic too.
The extended hours, you got 4 days, so really lunch, dinner, and late night. It's in great music.
Yeah, it's open on. It opens basically 11 o'clock or so every day except Sunday. Since we go to church, we don't open till noon. But on Thursday night, it's open till 9:30 at night, and then Friday and Saturday till 10. And it's pretty prompt closing at 10 because it's the deal we have with the neighbors. And then on Sunday, it's open till 7 o'clock. But like I say, we've got the big tent under there with plenty of seating. That's where the a la carte lines are. The stage is there with the live Greek music, and of course there'll be the Annunciation youth dancers will be on stage most of the time doing the traditional Greek dancing, and letting some of the audience come up there and join in with them if they want to. Beer and Greek wine and all that kind of stuff is under there too. So, and we have church tours, cooking classes. It's really just
something for everyone.
It's a fun time.
Tom, I want to ask you real quick. We have to let you go here in a minute. One of your own is running for mayor, and as a businessman trying to revitalize Waterside, can that happen again? You really think it can really happen?
Well, that's the big question. I kind of stay out of that. It's hard to say. I certainly hope it does work. I remember when that place first opened and how vital it was. And my daughters and son were young at the time, and it seemed like it was a weekly thing that we would go over there one night and have dinner at Waterside, and you'd had so many choices. And then it was so sad to see it fall into disarray in the past decade or so, especially since MacArthur opened up. But I hope that this new company can make a go of it and make it work because it's a nice property and nice view. I mean, it's great down there by the waterfront. So I'm hopeful that it's going to catch on.
Right. You can see the Norfolk Greek Festival website on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Tom, thanks a lot. We'll see you right there in May 12th to May 15th.
I'll be there, and I'll be here taking tickets, too.
Very good. All the best of the Narrow. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Tom Vourlas right there, Ken Johnson. Best of both worlds. And, of course, Narrow really is a treasure in Hampton Roads.
Yeah, it's one of those places that not only is just a great place to go, it's a fun place. It's a classic theater. It's a Wilder theater, which means it was well designed, well built. They've got great food there, always have different movies, not only show first run, but also classical features, and have film festivals. Just a great place to go. But on another whole side of it, it helped revitalize a big part of Norfolk. Before they turned, it was at one time the Colley Theater, before they turned the Colley Theater into the Narrow. That was kind of a dead section of Norfolk. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Nobody really wanted to go there. There weren't a whole lot of businesses. They renovated that theater, and a couple of restaurants, as Tom mentioned, opened up. But then in a very short period of time, that whole section of Colley became one of the places to go to dine, to see people, to have fun, to have a good time in some of the neighborhood. They revitalized some of the apartment buildings and some of the houses down there. I think they helped rescue that corner of Norfolk. So good on Tom and Tench for making the Narrow a big part of the Tidewater area. Because
we've always seen Norfolk and Virginia Beach kind of like the Hatfield and McCoys. I'm a Virginia Beach person myself. I've always loved the ocean front and that, but I do like the tides and of course certain things like Ken said, and of course Dumar. So many great places in Norfolk as well. Kenny, let's get to what teased me off in just a second right here on News Talk 1650. Sports Scene will be back again next Wednesday right here, 12 to 1. What teased me off?
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
We'll go right to the top, Ken. I asked you earlier off the air, the most boring national talk show that you've had to endure, sit and listen and work at, that you've had to listen to.
It's a long time ago. A lot of people may not remember. Some of the old-time talk radio listeners may remember from WNIS days. Pre-Rush Limbaugh, It does go back a few years. The man's name was Bruce Williams.
Oh, boy.
Now, nice guy and had a good wealth of knowledge to him, but his answer for almost every single caller, every single question was, "Get a lawyer, Tiger, get a lawyer." That's all. I mean, it was 4 hours of "Get a lawyer, Tiger, get a lawyer." Come on, Bruce.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you go a little? Sometimes he'd talk a few points about it, But 9 times out of 10, that was just his main point, was to tell him to get a lawyer. And it's like, oh, okay. And he had this really slow, deliberate way of talking. Nice voice, but oh my Lord. A couple hours of that, if you stayed awake, you were doing really good.
Well, my dad loved Bruce Williams. God rest his soul. He loved Bruce Williams. But anyway, Ken, the most boring national talk show host that I had to endure and board up when I was doing the weather was Bob Brinker. Oh my God, like watching paint dry, listening to Bob Brinker. Welcome to Money Talk. I mean, just really, it was almost like I was doing, what do you call, like community service by sitting there listening to Bob Brinker. Oh my God. All right, what else teased me off, folks, right here, as well as Kenny too. Kenny, lines are bad enough, but ones that are roped off by a maze, especially at movie theaters or banks, and they're like endless mazes, and you end up getting trapped, and people usually knock them down.
You feel like you're going to go see Santa Claus at Christmas. 9 times out of 10, there's nobody in those things, but you have to run that gamut, run that course just to get to where you're going to go. Take the ropes down when it's not busy.
Especially at banks. Come on. There's not many people going to the banks anyway. Delayed emails in your inbox, Ken, because they were sent by your phone as opposed to a regular computer.
Yeah, if they ever do get this internet thing down pat and get it working right, we'll be okay. It's a good thing we don't rely on it.
Yeah. Kenny, phony beggars on the street, folks, do this. Give to your favorite charity. Repeat, give to your favorite charity.
Yeah, someone that you know and trust, somebody that's established. Did you see the picture of the beggar over by in Suffolk who had to sign up a little cardboard sign and saying, I'm hungry, feed me, and behind it he's got his smartphone and he's texting on it.
Right.
Like,
I saw one person in Virginia Beach off Newtown Road, then saw the same person in Newport News. Says, you get around very well in that nice car. Northern Virginia. I went to George Mason. There's nothing good about Northern Virginia unless you're leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning. Go anywhere but Northern Virginia. Oh my God, Northern Virginia, you drive me crazy with your traffic. Makes it look like we have no traffic here in Hampton Roads. North Carolina and the bathroom laws. Enough already. Fix it. Fix it. And of course, I mentioned Bob Brinker. Kenny, I want to thank our great guest today as well. And of course, Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine with great shish kebabs right there at 10417 Warwick Boulevard in Newport News, as well as Tokyo Grill and Buffet in Hampton at 49 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Great sponsors, Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine and Tokyo Grill and Buffet. I want to thank as well Wayne Noe and of course Thom Vourlas. Go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for Sports Scene. We'll be back next Wednesday for another great show. Happy Wednesday.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 1 o'clock.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com.